Here we go. All right. Welcome back to another show of the TO Show. Again, we were on a little quick break for the past couple weeks, but now we are back at it. As you can see here, we got another great guest on our show. For all you Erie folks out there, you guys will definitely know who this guest is. As you can see him here, is we got Mr. Quarterback One, Mr. pretty much Erie himself. Pretty much you could say that is Mr. Joe Mischler. What's going on, Joe?
T.O., thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime. It's a blessing to have you on. It's been a little while since I've talked to you and hung out with you, especially with this COVID stuff. You know, how you been?
Everything's good. It's been a hectic year, I know you and your family moved out of Erie and all that stuff. So when everything got sent back home with COVID, we didn't get to catch up or anything. But yeah, I've been down here, switched schools, all that kind of great stuff, and just been all over the place. But yeah, staying busy, school, football, you know how that is, and just been pretty good. Can't complain.
That's awesome. It gets all the student athletes who are listening all know about the in-season stuff, how busy you are during the season and stuff like that. First off, how's your team done with COVID and stuff this past couple months?
Yeah, I mean, going back all the way last March, we kind of had to make a decision, like, are we going to play or we're not going to play? And I mean, we decided that we were going to scrap that and not play like 2 games. We're going to play like two road games. We're going to go out to Air Force and somewhere else. I believe it was Youngstown State. And we ended up just saying we were going to wait till we could play like a conference schedule and all that. But yeah, last couple of months, going through a lot of the COVID protocols, getting tested multiple times a week, waking up early, practicing, all that good stuff. It's been a grind, but I'm just happy that we're playing. It's been a long time, man. So whatever it takes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's been too long almost. You know, I kind of nice to see all the FBS, pretty much the FBS schools playing in the fall there, but all the FCS guys and other guys I think they're really were itching, watching everyone play and really wanted to play with that. So Joe, let's go for the viewer's sake, a little bit about yourself. You're at Duquesne right now. Let's go through a little bit of your story. You kind of snake hold to Duquesne, which is, everyone says success, the key to success, it might look like go straight to the top, but there's twists and turns and stuff like that. So talk a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm. So originally out of high school, we graduated together. And then I went to Ohio University, stayed there for about 2 years. Decided it wasn't a great fit for me overall, just as a school. I really have no complaints about the football program or the staff or any of the people there. I had some really great friends there. It just wasn't a really great fit for me, and I needed a different change of scenery. Just to kind of, have the maximize my college experience to a point where I could look back on it and be happy. And that was really the main motivation for leaving. And then I ended up here at Duquesne, up in Pittsburgh, a little bit closer to home. Nice little fit, nice school. And I've really settled in real nice here. I really like it. It's been good with school and football. And so I got here last spring. March hit, COVID, all that. Don't even want to go down that road. I'm sure everybody's tired of talking about it by now, but yeah. And now here we are. We played 2 games and we're 2-0 right now. Just really happy to be able to be out there again and playing. It was 3 years since I had my last start in a game.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I remember I was sitting there, and you guys playing on Sundays now. We're playing on Saturdays, but you guys are playing Sundays. First off, how has that been a little bit of a change with your guys' schedule? Because I know you played in the MAC, and you guys are playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day it is. They say, okay, whatever time we can get TV time, that's the day your guys are playing. Playing on Sundays. Talk a little bit about the MAC schedule and a little bit about playing on Sundays. What's the difference? Is it been a little different for you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to be brutally honest. The MAC schedule it's terrible. I mean, you wake up on a Tuesday and you travel all day, you miss class all day, you have to make all that up. Then you go play on a Wednesday or a Thursday at night because that's the night game. You're on
Yeah.
kind of prime time action. You got people betting on it and
Yeah.
stuff. It's crazy, but it's really only football on during the week, which is cool in a way, but it's really tough on the student athlete. I mean, I know there's other sports that play weekdays all the time. We're just used to playing on like a Friday or a Saturday
Mhm.
and kind of having those couple days to like recover and do all that. But yeah, playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, Thursday was not it was not
It
it. It
wasn't
was
it.
tough. No, there's just so many different moving parts to it. If it was a home game, it was okay, but
Mhm.
those away games were brutal. But yeah, now playing on Sundays, I think I might have a curse where I go. The schedule just gets pretty screwed up.
It
But
must be.
yeah, I there were some rumors the NEC was going to try to play on Fridays, Friday nights, and that would have been awesome.
That would've been sweet.
A little Friday night lights action again. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, we're on Sundays, and um, I mean, I guess you could try to say like Sundays like football day with the NFL and all that, but it's definitely different. And your off days on a Monday, you still have class, and it's just a little bit tough, but it is what it is. And I think towards the end of the season, we're going to start to get a couple games on some ESPN. I think one or two of the games will be on ESPN two, which is kind of cool,
That's awesome.
just to get some more exposure. And really, that's one of the things I was looking forward to was the FCS kind of getting on TV a little bit more. I know a lot of the TV time's booked up already because they weren't anticipating us playing. But yeah, are you guys on TV when you play
See,
on
that's the weird
Saturdays?
thing is here's my hypothetical theory, and I thought about this in the fall a little bit. Is I always thought, hey, what if the FCS just turned into a spring the FCS school? What if they just played football in the spring instead? Because they've always wanted some sort of spring football after the Super Bowl. They've always wanted the XFL or the American Football League or anything like that, and those have never panned out. But something with like the FCS, I was always thinking, what they always looking to fill TV times because they got the NBA, and the NBA gets good revenue and good TV time, but it's not consistent as football, and football is American sport. And so I was like, huh. And so I was kind of surprised that we don't really have any games on ESPN, or even like we're watching like North Dakota State and all those other schools. They weren't really on any sort of TV. I was like, what? Like
Yeah,
there's these top 25 matchups. And I was even thinking our game versus New Hampshire was going to have a chance to be on like
yeah,
a nice, like at least some sort of like ESPN Plus or some sort of like ESPN kind of Friday night action, but it wasn't, which was kind of surprising to me. So I guess that kind of theory is kind of thrown out the window, I guess now, but who knows? Like I said, I hope they can get some more exposure in TV times. Cause I always thought, hey, why not get these little schools more attention? It brings revenue into them and all these other stuff that might help them. So who knows?
yeah,
So
100%, man. I mean, I was kind of bummed out. I was gonna watch that game because I saw you guys were playing. That's a heck of a game too. What was it, like 16 versus 18 or something? The rankings at that point.
yeah, something like
Um,
that.
yeah, I mean, and you're right though. That's kind of a decent idea of putting us in the spring. I'm not against the idea of playing when it's cold out and then it gets warmer. I mean, I'm kind of into that. That's one thing about this season I'm cool with. But yeah, it's just being in the FCS. I don't think people really realize how good the football is and how good the competition is. I mean, the CAA, you guys are always super competitive, and it's tough to even just get up into the race to win the CAA, and then you guys have like multiple teams go and play in the playoff every year.
Yeah,
So
I think that what hurts us a little bit is how good our league is. A little bit is that there's so many good teams that we kind of almost beat each other up. A little
right,
bit where we might not get as the same exposure. Like, I mean, it's from top to bottom, in my opinion, it's one of the best, definitely one of the best in the country. I think the Missouri Valley, and then last year, I think it was the Big Sky was pretty good too with
hmm
them. But it's always good to see you guys like Duquesne and we played CCSU last year, who they gave us a game in the first half before we
hmm
finally actually started clicking. But they were a darn good team. It's always good to see, all these other schools, compete and I think right now the FCS is kind of open right now, in my opinion. There's no really good. I mean, there's good teams, but there's no like powerhouses like there were like with pretty much it's been JMU, North Dakota State for the past, 2 or 3 years. So I think it's going to be exciting as we get down to the wire here, see who makes the playoffs and, who can, I think anybody who makes the playoffs can make a run for that top spot.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it, man. I mean, hopefully we get our bid and we win our conference and get a shot, but like you said, it's kind of cool. I don't want to say cool, but it's almost refreshing to see other teams kind of like working their way up to the top. You know what I mean? It's almost like in the FBS, everybody's like, oh, it's going to be Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and then there's your fourth. Like, who's the fourth going to be? Mm-hmm. Like for FCS, I mean, I like the playoff structure better. It's like a true playoff.
So much better.
Anything can happen type deal, and it's exciting, man. I think this year is going to be one of the most competitive years overall. And I know, like you were talking about, the Missouri Valley has a couple teams that could knock off North Dakota State. I mean, I believe it's South Dakota has been playing well the past couple of years.
Yep.
They're looking pretty good. And, I'm just excited. It's pretty cool. It's new to me. I've never been in this playoff format. I've never played in a conference like championship game, like this type of style. So I'm excited, man. And it's been fun kind of keeping up with everything.
Yeah, they kind of condensed it down just for the sake of the COVID stuff. But like I said, it was definitely cool last year hosting a home game and having all that stuff. We have a pretty good fan base. It's not the biggest fan base in the world, but it was nice just to have a playoff game. It's kind of cool atmosphere and having stuff like that. What would you say the biggest difference between, playing at the FBS level to the FCS level, just based on you've had a short snippet, you were in March and you're playing in the NEC, but with these past 2 games, what have you noticed the big differences in not necessarily competition and play, but just regular differences in the 2 different conferences or subdivisions?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get that question from like a lot of people, like teammates and stuff. People are always curious. You have guys on your team that, I mean, they're great players. They were kind of the guy at their high school, and they just ended up FCS and not FBS. Like I personally think I got lucky. I mean, I had amazing teammates in high school. I had you, Terry, Henry, Stan, all those guys. Shout out to those guys, but a great offensive line, and then we just had a great team, and it made it easy for all of us to end up somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I was lucky enough to end up at Ohio, and it was a great opportunity and everything. But biggest difference, it's kind of, I really think it's probably like just depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I'd agree.
It's like here we have really great starters, and it's just hard because the scholarships aren't there. You know what I mean? Like NEC specifically doesn't have the number of scholarships that like even the CAA teams have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not saying that we don't have great backups or anything. It's just saying like you can't bring in the guys that you can bring in at the next level. And that's why there is a difference. That's why they make it different. There's FCS, FBS. I mean, the money is definitely for scholarships is probably the biggest difference. Like treatment wise and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they treat us great here. You got to take care of your athletes wherever you're at. And I think that's just kind of like a culture thing. And it was really great at Ohio. They had great staff and everything, and they have a great staff here. So I'm sure you feel the same way. I mean, I know they just got to take care of your guys, and that's just a part of the process. But yeah, the difference is, I would probably say depth, just like having the money to give full scholarships to kids. Honestly.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think like I said, my freshman year, we played Pitt and whatnot. And I didn't think, they're a good, they have a couple guys, pro day was, I think yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. And they had a couple guys who definitely did stand out. But in my opinion, the difference between us and them, even though they kind of blew it, we played with them for about, the first quarter, and then we played with them in the second half, but they were already up by so much. But I always just thought, hey, these guys are just like a little bit bigger, they just have a little bit bigger size, and they just have more more dudes because they have so much more scholarships and stuff like that, just to like be able to bring in those dudes to do that, you know. And I think like talent wise, it was, I mean, top players to top players, it was just about the same, you know. There wasn't much difference in that. I just think, like I said, I agree, it's just depth with stuff like that.
Right. And I think, like, to add on to that, FCS football, you have some ballers. Like, you have straight ballers that are either, oh, you're just a little bit too short, you're just not quick enough, or there's like one thing that
So it's not
coaches
the
didn't.
prototypical, like,
Right.
all right, like you don't run a 4.3 or 4.2, like you might just run like a 4.4.5 or 4.6.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I
like,
mean, you and I experienced that straightforward when we were getting recruited. You know, we both kind of had a tough time. Like you were skinny, I'm short. Like that's all there is to it. You know, but it's yeah. I mean, I think you're right though. Like number one guys versus number one guys, you can compete, and that's why those games are usually pretty close for a decent amount of time. And I think, I mean, if the resources were the same and scholarships were the same, and you know, you got like your own cafeteria where you go and eat, and you're on your diet program, I mean, it'd be cool to see, but it's just not how it is. So, but yeah, I always like seeing the FCS team hang around with the FBS.
Yeah, another thing I like enjoying is seeing all the prep grads. At least just like I said, Erie. You guys pretty much got Erie University down there at Duquesne. You know, like just bringing every single Erie recruit pretty much coming out like the past like 3 years. I don't know how you guys landed all those Erie recruits, but it's just nice to see everyone from Erie who you either played against or you saw play, you know, do well, especially like guys that we graduated with. Like you see Juice and we see Terry and you see Henry, and I see all these other guys, you know, getting all these accolades and getting in and playing, especially you and Billy and all these other guys. You know, I can the list keeps going on and on and on, you know, of guys who are doing well. What is it like being at pretty much Erie University where you've seen these guys play and know, you know, these guys?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, honestly. Like Billy Lucas and I are in the backfield together again. We were talking because he's been playing really well recently, and he's running hard. And I mean, you know, Billy, when he gets in his game mode, he's kind of he's a beast. Like, and but yeah, we were talking about them one day. We're like, it's kind of funny, dude. Like, we're gonna be back there, just like we're already comfortable with each other. Like, I mean, you don't really have to worry about that much when you know somebody's back there. And I mean, even our starting running back, Garrett Owens, is from Northeast.
Exactly.
And then our starting safety and captain, Spencer DeMetal's a D10 guy. So it's kind of cool. Like a smaller school like us, they kind of have to find like either transfers or they find like those guys in D10 that go to smaller schools or something, and they just find good talent and bring them in here. But yeah, you could say it's Prep U, but I think I don't know how many guys we have on the team now that are from there, but it's kind of cool. It's nice, and it's nice to see that, like, you know, Prep still getting kids into school places, and Duquesne's like obviously pretty happy with what they're doing when they're getting here. So
yeah, there must be. I mean, it must be one of your reason to your guys' success though over these past couple of games that I saw you guys see. It seems like everyone who's putting up big numbers or putting up big stats is, you know, from Erie or some sort of connection with that. Which, like I said, I just constantly enjoy that because I mean, it's just always good to just show how good, you know, Western football, but not necessarily just Western PA football, but just show how good, you know, don't miss out on Erie. You know, might be a little bit on the smaller side, but hey, you know, you better, there's some dogs coming out of Erie. You better look out, you know?
Yeah. And going back to like what you said about just like watching your teammates on TV, I think I get more excited when I see like Matty Bowe, Juicy, Terry, Henry, any of those guys make a play than I do if I make a play in real life. You know what I mean? Like even you, when you scored that touchdown, I was like, that's T.O. doing his thing. But yeah, it's always cool to see guys that you're friends with and teammates, and you want them to succeed. That's just generally how it is. But like when you know that they're working hard and they're good people, it makes it that much better. I mean, they all deserve whatever they're getting, and I hope they get all the playing time that they want and all that. And it's I gotta say, I'm very excited to see what Juicy does, though.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I'm
having,
excited to see what all of us could do because I think,
yeah,
we're all going into pretty much junior. I mean, we'll end our junior year, going into our kind of senior year, but technically we all got redshirted and at least have this extra year because of COVID and whatnot too as well. So I'll be excited. Like I said, I think you've been around, but at least college, football is like it's more of a little bit of a waiting game. Just keep working because like you got seniors, juniors ahead of you. It's a matter of time before it's your opportunity to be able to put on the field. So I'm excited to see what we can do. All of us, just prep grads in general, can all do this next fall coming up because I think, like I said, it's going to be a lot of kids from our state championship team that are going to be putting up those big numbers and a lot of big plays. I think this upcoming fall, which I'm really excited to see everyone's success on the field.
yeah. Even Jerry and like Cam Landis is still throwing at Penn, and like people like that. Like we got guys all over the place. It's kind of
It's
cool.
like we got West Coast, East to West Coast, which is kind of funny
Yeah.
that Jerry's at Arizona because our defensive coordinator who left last year to go to Michigan, he's the linebackers coach at that Arizona, and
Oh,
so he'll
really?
be coaching. It's a small world. This is so crazy. It's a small world
Yeah.
that he'll be coaching Jerry at Arizona, which is awesome. Shout out to Coach Duds and Jerry out there at Arizona. He's got to be liking that nice weather out there in Arizona, man. I could use a nice trip to Arizona right now up here in
I'm
Albany.
with you there.
It was 40 degrees and raining today. So I was not very happy with the weather today. I could use a little 75 and sunny down there in Arizona or Florida, wherever
Oh yeah.
it'd be nice down there.
You guys have an indoor?
Nope. We're like one of the
So
only like the farthest north, one of the farthest north teams to not actually have an indoor facility.
yeah, because I don't know how your spring practice is, or like technically it was like fall camp, but it was in the spring. It's
Yeah.
freezing. We had like days where it was like wind chill below zero, and we could only go out on the field for a half hour, and then they'd have to pull us off the field, and we'd have like warming stations, and we'd have to sit inside for 15 minutes, and then we could go back out. Like that stuff's yeah. And
It's
trying to
cold.
throw
It's
in
definitely
in
cold.
the
The wind gets
cold.
up here. We were able, and there was a couple days where it was like snowy and stuff, where there was like about 4 or 5 inches on the field, and we couldn't practice at all. So we pretty much just had to just not practice and have meetings and whatever.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like there was, I think, a couple days. So what we did was when we came back to school, we had like a 2-week kind of training, get back to like training, whatever, if you weren't lifting, whatever, get back into shape or whatnot before we
Mhm.
started up our fall camp. And then that 2 weeks, there was a days where like it was like wind chill of 1 or like 0, which is, or whatever it was, something like 1, 2, 3 degrees, which is barely enough where you can actually do stuff outside.
Right.
Like if it's anywhere below 0, I think you have to like, you can't have anything outside. So it was like, there was like a couple days where we were like right on the edge, which it was like, man, it was
Yeah.
cold. It was cold.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
And once it gets below 10, I mean, it feels like it's 0 at that point,
Oh, 100%.
It started to get up into like the 30s, and everybody was wearing short sleeves and stuff. It was funny, but yeah, it was a long spring, man.
It's been a long time coming, especially after all of us found out that our season was all canceled and stuff. It was kind of just almost like a waiting kind of, who's working kind of game a little bit, who's able to work out and who's able to not. Because a lot of us, I don't know what happened to you guys in the the fall for us, but we pretty much didn't really get an opportunity to lift. We probably lifted and ran for like maybe max like 2 or 3 weeks. The other times we were pretty much just shut down because of COVID cases, and we got sent home
Mhm.
early anyways, which was unfortunate. So, it was nice to, have at least these 2 games to at least play. And, they're not all these games are guaranteed because I see games getting
Yeah.
canceled left and right a little bit too with the COVID cases. So we try to be as a team, be all smart and not worry, about that stuff, and just kind of just, hey, stay out of large groups and be smart.
Yeah. How have you guys been navigating all that? You guys get tested pretty frequently?
Yeah, we get tested, I think 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, something like that. And so,
Mhm.
like I said, kudos to our team because we've only had ever since we've gotten back, we've only had one. I'm gonna knock on wood, but we've had only like one COVID case.
That's amazing, honestly.
So I'm like I said, I'm gonna knock on wood again just to make sure. But it's just been very nice to, kind of just not forget about it, but not really a subject coming up in the locker room or whatever. It's like, oh, where's he today? Oh, well, he got a close contact or something like that. He's in quarantine or something like that, where it's like, oh
Right.
gosh, like what sucks that we have to lose him for 10 days or something like that, which is no fun.
We were clean all the way up until game week, and then 5 starters got it before our first game, which, I mean, it was like 5, 6 people total, but yeah, we were all like, that would happen. That would be the luck of
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
It was tough, but we get most of them back this week, and yeah, it's just kind of half of the game right now, and it's a part of the game. And I know, like, people can make excuses about this year and say whoever wins, oh, it was just a COVID year and all that.
Mhm.
But I mean, you have to give credit to programs that emphasize being safe and staying healthy. I mean, if to me, that's like one of the best things going for us is we do a good job, and people are being smart and we want to play. So, um, I mean, if a team can't play in a playoff game or something because of COVID, and it was something you could control, I mean, that's just gonna be how it is. It's like a 12th man, honestly. Like, you got to be able to.
It is.
There's no people in the stands, but you got to worry about COVID. You know what I mean? But
You're right. You're right. The COVID bug will get you if you don't worry about it. I'm hoping with this NCAA tournament where they're kind of being thrown in the bubble, which I've seen a lot of the stuff, but hopefully with them that nobody really gets any COVID or anything like that, where they have to sit out, because their rules are even crazier, where like if one person gets it, then the whole team gets shut down, which is kind of unfortunate. So hopefully we can have like a normal kind of March Madness with them, which is, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. This is the one year where I have no idea, like, any of the
That's
seeds,
the
any of the
I was filling out
teams.
my bracket yesterday just for fun, and I was like, man, I was like, this is a 1 seed, this is a 2 seed. They're good.
Yeah,
They're what?
yeah,
I was like, I am so out of it. I was like, man, I'm usually on top of this. I'm usually able to create a good bracket. I'm like, man, I'm just
yeah,
at this point, it's like it's a guessing game. I feel like I'm just kind of another civilian just filling out another bracket.
yeah. I only fill out, like, ever since we've been in college, I fill out like one a year, and it's my family one.
That's
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 just
the
like
same one with me.
bragging rights, and
You have the
uh,
bracket. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Oh,
but
I made the best bracket.
yeah,
Screw, like I had to come home and be like, yeah, I got you this year. You're not
yeah.
gonna get me next year, and just all that smack talk.
I always laugh because my roommate and I were talking about it today. It always seems like the people who know the least always do well in these types of things. Like I'm almost positive my mom's gonna win because she probably goes, oh, like, I like the name of that mascot. She picks it, and it's gonna end up working somehow, just because they don't overthink it. All of us think we're like Skip Bayless out here being an analyst or something, and we're like, oh, I have a really good feeling about somebody. And it's just it's all luck. I mean, it's March. Nobody ever knows what's gonna happen. That's
Yeah,
why it's fun. But
that's why it's so much fun, and that's why it's so
yeah,
like actually fair. It's like
yeah,
your girlfriend or your mom or whoever who might not be following basketball at all could make the best bracket because
yeah,
it's March. Like you just don't know what will
yeah,
happen. She'll take like a 12th seed all the way to the Final Four or something just because she likes the name, and they end up making it somehow.
yeah. You can never go wrong with those 12-5 matchups, though. I think I always pick the 12s. You got to go with it.
There's always some sneaky matchups that who knows, whatever. It's like it's kind of a toss up. Who's the team going to be this year or whatever? Who's going to make it to
Yeah,
the Sweet 16, kind of something like that, which is interesting. They're the people who are actually like good at it find the actual analytics and actually like figure out exactly, oh, this percentage of this on this something, stuff like that, where I've actually looked that up and it's been pretty cool. It's helped me a little bit with those bragging rights.
yeah, yeah. That's always fun, though. I remember when we were at prep, everybody would try to watch it on the iPads during the day, and like all the teachers know what's going on. Like, they're
Yeah.
not dumb. Like, like all of us are like jumping up in our seats. We're like, oh
Or
my
just
God.
trying to find a way that we can watch it because it's blocked. Or
Right.
try to find, okay, we found this
Yeah.
loophole. We found this loophole to watch the games on our iPad with that.
Yeah. You want to get something done, put a bunch of prep kids in a room and block an iPad. It'll get finished. You'll figure out a loophole in like 10 minutes.
So
It's
just a matter
ridiculous.
of time. It's just a matter of time. But Joe, you always talked about, how much in high school, you always talked about how much you hated Pittsburgh. It was the worst city in the town. How the hell did you end up at Duquesne in Pittsburgh or whatnot? Has your mindset completely done a 180 now that you're actually living in there and at Duquesne? Or is it kind of like, hey, I like Duquesne, still don't like Pittsburgh?
Dude, it's really funny because I did say that most of the time I was saying it to try to get under people's skin, but like I honestly hated driving in Pittsburgh. I still dislike it. I still think it's crazy. I mean, if you've ever been here, there's like 7 billion bridges and there's so many things going on. That's the only complaint I have now. I actually love it here. Like I have 2 sisters that moved here. Well, 3. One of the ones is a traveling nurse, so she's technically not here, but she still has a place down here. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, 3 out of the 5 Mischler kids are down here, like full time. There's my poor sister who's the traveling nurse is here like every so often. So it's kind of cool having all my family down here. I have a cousin that's down here. But yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's pretty cool. I take back a lot of my harsh comments about it. I have to, but it's got a good atmosphere and it's kind of nice because Duquesne's like, I mean, we're on Forbes Ave. It's literally like the street runs from like downtown all the way to Oakland where Pitt's at. I mean, there's everything here. I can walk 5 minutes and get to a Pens game. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I was definitely a little harsh. I think it's because I'm a Cleveland guy at
Yeah,
heart.
that's what I figured. That's what I
I'm a
figured.
diehard. I don't know. I can't say diehard. I don't really follow sports that well, but I'm a Browns, Cavs, Indians guy. That's my dad right there. That's his influence.
Yeah,
So
is Papa Mitch going to move down to Pittsburgh now since all you guys are
I don't
settled down there?
know.
Might as well just hop in, move the whole family down there. You know what I mean?
Right. He always jokes he's gonna get an RV and just kind of like park outside of their places and just live in an RV. But yeah, he might have to. We're gonna have to get the whole family down here. So, but yeah, I take back my comments. That was Pittsburgh Steelers still low on my list. I can deal
Okay,
with the Pens,
that
but
still makes sense. That still
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
But your Browns did a lot better this year than they beat Pittsburgh, so it was kind of nice to
yeah.
see them be back. I bet I was happy to be able to actually sit down and I don't know if you were able to actually watch football in the fall actually because I never usually have time to actually watch Sunday football. It was kind of nice to actually sit down and actually, hey, I can follow my team now.
Mm-hmm. You're what, the Broncos?
Yeah, the Broncos fan. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are gonna be good, man. I think Drew Lock's a stud.
That's where I disagree with you on that one. I hope
Really?
I'm a big Trey Lance guy, and so
Oh yeah.
and I'm hoping I'm saying if the Jets don't take Zach Wilson, that the Broncos should do whatever they possibly can to trade for the number 3 pick and move up and take Zach Wilson. But if Zach Wilson gets taken, I think they should still move up to either Atlanta spot or something before Carolina to hopefully take, I think, Trey Lance if he's still on the board.
Who has the first pick?
Huh?
Do the Jags have the first pick?
Yeah, the Jags. Jags will
So
take.
they're probably going Trevor Lawrence, and then who's 2? The Jets.
Yeah, the Jets.
And they're going quarterback probably.
I don't know. I think it'll all depend on what they want to do. I think it's all going to depend. They might trade. I don't know. It's depending on what they want to do with Sam Darnold.
He's not bad.
I mean,
really
I like Sam Darnold. I think the Broncos, if they have a chance, they should maybe think about that too as well.
Yeah.
It's a 1 year kind of figure it out, kind of show me what you got because his rookie contract is going to be up here. And if they don't pick up the 5th year option, then he'll be a free agent next year. And so I'm excited to see that. I got April's coming up here, so I gotta create my mock draft here and see how well I'll do. I did pretty well last year, so I'm excited to see how well I'll do this year.
Do you do all the rounds? Will you go like all the way through?
That's just crazy. I'll probably go the
That's
first
Coach Brooks
32.
level stuff right there.
Yeah, I don't even think it's worth even going to all 7 rounds because there's just
Yeah.
so much stuff that can happen or whatever. I'll do the first
Right.
32. Maybe I don't. The second round's kind of a crapshoot depending on what happens in the first round because the first round's day 1 and then it's the second and third on the second day and then 4 through 4 and 5 and then 6 and 7 I think is how it works out or whatever. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
So
You might have to make your round 1 and then see what actually happens and then make your 2 and 3. Give yourself a little fighting chance, because if
it might not be a bad
something
idea.
doesn't happen, then like your whole board could change based off of like one pick.
Yeah, I might have to do that if I have time to. I definitely would. I should do that. That'd be pretty sweet. See, I was pretty good. I was pretty good in the first 20, 15, 20. I was pretty good last year. I was about like 85%, I think I was, or something like
That's
that
solid.
last year, which was not bad. After that, it was kind of just like, the late first round's kind of tough to predict because there's a lot of trades and whatnot. But I'm excited for this year's draft. Already the free agency's already kind of blockbustered. All these other Patriots are making moves. A bunch of other teams are kind of making some crazy moves, which are kind of very interesting, especially with the salary cap and certain stuff. But man, it's so fascinating. I love team building is one of my things I find so interesting.
Yeah.
I think
know,
being able to being able to build teams, like if I played Madden, like half the time I don't even like playing the game. I just like building the draft and building teams. I don't even care about really playing the game. I'm really just worrying about free agents, salary cap, certain stuff like that, which I just find so cool.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like when you play those games. I haven't played a video game in forever, but like when I was when like NCAA Road to Glory and all that stuff was out, and you could like do the season and recruit. My favorite part was recruiting. Like I don't know. It's cool though how you can actually like control your roster and like build a team. You're right. It's pretty sweet. But
I think like I said, it'll be again, it's free agent ain't done, so I'll be excited to see what happens with the draft and whatnot. So going back, Joe, going a little bit back to high school is how much of the guys have you been able to catch up with a lot of the old Erie guys back in high school at a prep?
you talking like the guys we played with or just like prep guys
Anybody?
in
Yeah, I
general?
don't matter. Just general question here.
Yeah, like I keep in contact with a pretty good number of people, whether it just be like a simple text or something. But it's tough to hit like everybody. We had a smaller class, but it's like, I mean, you kind of just hit up whoever you hung out with the most and try to text your teammates that you were close with and all that. But yeah, I mean, I try to text people like every 2 weeks, and then just kind of like if they pop in your head, text them type deal. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was kind of nice because I mean, you had to be careful, but when everybody was home, if you just, I mean, a lot easier to kind of think of like, oh, I should give this guy a call, and because you're back home and you're thinking kind of back to old times and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, it's always good to catch up with people. It's kind of cool. I have a couple of those guys that either go to Pitt or they go here, so I see them.
Oh, so you gotta hang out with them every once in a while, whenever you got some free time and whatever. So going back, what would you say as of right now, what is your favorite prep moment that you had while you were back? Looking back on your 4 years of prep, what was your favorite prep moment that you enjoyed the most?
I don't know if you were there or not, but it wasn't the public's favorite, but anybody that did it, I mean, it was just kind of like innocent fun, and it kind of turned into a big deal. But our hockey team was going to states.
Okay, yeah, I was there.
You were there, yeah. And so the old prep tradition, which is no longer because of what happened, is like you rally crew does the big send off, and then everybody goes outside and chases the bus for like a couple blocks, whatever. My dad ended up telling me like in 2000 they rode their bikes on on the highway, like where they merge on off of 12th on
Yeah.
79,
Uh-huh.
and they were on the highway, like behind the bus, like like hauling it after the bus. But I mean, everything's different, there's more cameras and stuff nowadays, like whatever. But so yeah, our whole school takes off after the bus. We get like 2 blocks away, and then you get into the area of like, all right, is this enough or not? And then everybody just like kept going. And I remember I was in the front with like Ian Malcheski, Henry, like Donish Body was with us, like just like everybody in the school. Some kid got hit by a car, like, like it was hectic, and I think that's why it was so much fun. But we ran like 2.5 miles. I just remember like stopping, be like, all right, I'm going back. Like I've ran like 5 blocks, like that's way too far, and just like the rally crew keep coming up. No, we're not stopping. We're going all the way. And then, I mean, a couple kids made a bad decision. They went up to the high school and all that deal. I mean, you remember that. But yeah, we went all the way up to the Mercer's hockey arena. I just thought that was kind of hilarious. It just turned into this big deal when it was supposed to be like innocent fun. But the worst part was like as kids were running across the street, I guess some kid kind of flipped a bird at somebody, and it was like the bishop was in the car. So like they're really bad, like not good, but overall it was kind of fun. I was with Henry the whole time. We were just like, this is insane. But yeah, that's probably my favorite like prep moment outside of athletics. That's the one I'll never forget. So
That one was pretty fun. I remember that. So the story with that is I was relatively new to the school. And so like I didn't know where the hell what the hell was going on. I'm just like, well, these people are running, so I'm running with them.
yeah,
Whatever. And so we got up to the high school, or not the high school. We got up to the hockey rink or whatever, and we're like, all right, I got to figure out how the hell I'm going to get back.
yeah,
I just
right.
I got lost. I had no idea where I was going, whatever. So I actually found I think it was like Marcus and Carney, which are probably not the two best people to find your way around with. But I found them, and we started, and they pretty much took us back to prep. I probably wasn't back. We probably left at like second period. I didn't get back to like seventh
Yeah,
period. I
I
was
remember
like,
that was a big
I had no
deal.
idea where I was going. I pretty much got lost, and I had no idea where I was. So I remember I came back. I was like one of the last people probably back at the school. They're like, "Where were you?" It's like, well, I don't know. I got lost.
I don't even know where I
I'm a
was.
brand new student here. I'm Woody, a brand new student here. I just moved from Oregon. I have no idea where I am. What the heck just happened? Is this normal? Like, this is awesome. This is the
Yeah,
best school ever. If we're allowed to do
yeah,
this every time somebody goes off to states, that
yeah,
was really fun. I think the mistake they made is they made it like a dress down. So people were in tennis shoes. So people can
yeah.
run. Usually, I think there was just like you were in your dress outfit, whatever. You're not running Sperry's for 2 miles.
No, no
No way. I'm
chance.
running in khakis and a tie for 2 miles, and there's no shot. I mean, there might be some people who might, but I was like, I'm not. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I remember I think this is probably my favorite part, but like that McDonald's is really close to the school.
Yeah.
A lot of kids just booked it and went to McDonald's, right? And it's a Friday in Lent, and this is when we had Mr. Murdoch as our
Yeah. As our
as our
president or our principal.
principal, and obviously he was like a really religious guy. And, like he walks in, and he's trying to like corral all the kids, and he sees a bunch of them in McDonald's, and he's like these kids eating burgers, and he slaps it out of their hand. He goes, "It's Friday." He's like slapping shakes out of people's hands and stuff, losing his mind. Yeah, but what a crazy day! Like that was just insane. I remember, like my dad works in the school, and I remember getting an email from him like, "Hey, come to my office." I was like, "Oh man, I'm about to get in trouble for running up there, like whatever." And he like brings me in. He's like, "What happened?" Like I'm getting emails from everybody saying like, "We need to go get kids. We need to pick them up and bring them back to school." I was like, honestly, we just didn't stop, and it just turned into this whole big deal. But yeah, that was a crazy day. That was fun.
One of my favorite stories that I heard is that I think Coach G was bringing a bus around, one of the buses around where the minivans,
Yeah,
whatever.
those big white minivan things.
And they told him, get in the car. And then he got out of the car and stuff, and everyone just booked out of it and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just dying laughing. And there's just so many stories.
Everybody has their own
We probably
perspective.
never heard the full story of like everyone did, which would be pretty cool to actually hear what everyone did. Any crazy funny stories would happen. That would be pretty funny to hear what everyone did. But that was a fun day, and especially being a new kid, I was like, man, this school's awesome. Like, this is the coolest school I've ever been to. We left school and we're just running around places, just doing whatever we want. This is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, old school prep, like I obviously grew up around it just because of my dad, but like that was bad. That was definitely like not a good look for a school. But there was worse things that happened back in the day that nobody even knows about unless you went there. Just because times are so much different, you know.
Yeah.
Like first thing that happened was kids were taking videos, and you know how it is. So, but yeah, that was can't make that up, man. That was a fun day.
That was a fun day. Yeah, I haven't really kept much up ever since I've really left prep. I haven't really kept up with much of stuff that's going on at prep or whatever like that. My brother graduated just this past year or whatever, and pretty much wasn't really even able to go to his graduation because of COVID and whatnot, which is unfortunate and whatnot. But you know, it's like I haven't really kept up with it or anything. Like I know Mr. Will was the principal, whatever they call it down there. I don't know if he's still there being the principal, but I haven't talked to Mr. Will in a little bit. I need to talk to Mr. Will.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's listening to this. Mr. Will, I hope you're listening. If you're not, it's whatever, man. But no, I hope you listen to it, Mr. Will.
He was one of my favorite teachers there. He'd give it out, and like he'd dish out some jokes the whole time. It was awesome. But he also coached me when I was like in 5th grade. He was my 5th grade basketball coach. So
I think he was by far. I think him and Coach Sidetuk were probably my two, and Coach L were probably 2 to 3 of my favorite professors at prep.
Yeah.
There, I think those were probably my favorites, just to mess around and give them a hard time, and them ditching it right back at you. Even just like the conversations that I would just have with certain teachers in school were I think awesome. Which is definitely something I miss.
They have a lot of good people there.
I don't know how much it's changed. I feel like it's changed a lot ever since.
About to get even more different when they merge.
I wonder how that's gonna work. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope it works out because it's better than like having nothing. You know, it's definitely gonna stink. A lot of traditions and stuff are gonna be different, but it's better than them not existing. That's how I'm looking at it.
That's
I
true.
guess.
I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like I couldn't go out there with my lawnmower and
no
rally and do that. You know, if if that were to happen. So I don't know how I feel about that because I'd take that away.
People like when I say I went to an all boys school, like immediately they're like, "Oh, that stinks." I was like, I don't know. It was just kind of like going to school with your buddies every day and didn't have to worry about anything. Just go do whatever, joke around, and leave. But it was, I liked my high school experience. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was definitely a good time. I think it was like there's definitely pluses and minuses of it, but I definitely like the pluses a little outweighed the minuses a little bit more. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd agree. So looking back on your, what was it? So you're a 3-year starter at prep? 3-year starter. Looking back, what's your favorite prep football memory that for all the prep grads or current prep football players? What was your favorite prep football moment that you had?
There was a lot of fun ones. My favorite's got to be though the touchdown pass to you in the state championship game. I just remember that was to go up, right? That was like
that was to win.
Yeah, and I just remember watching you catch it and then dip out of it to your right. I still don't know how you did it, but it worked, and it Yeah, that's definitely the like rush of adrenaline and just like everybody going nuts was crazy. I remember, so that happens. I don't know how to react. Like I'm running around, I run to the sideline. I'm looking for somebody to like chest bump or something, and nobody sees me. I run up to Matty Bow, and he's just like in this like 1,000-yard stare. He's like in shock. So I'm like, all right, screw that. And I run down to you, and everybody's in the end zone. It was crazy, but yeah, that game was insane. I mean, that team gave up like what 11 points the whole year, and we scored like 17 in 9 minutes or something
Something
crazy.
crazy like that.
Yeah, that game. Well, that game's insane. I mean, it was just
That was a lot of fun. And I remember just the student section, especially having that prep brotherhood. I think about high school football. I think our difference between our little bit of what our high school football is going to those state championship games or even playoff games where the whole student body pretty much is there and supporting you. And I just think I remember how loud they were after that and whatnot. But
yeah.
that was definitely a top. It was a top memory. I'd have to either go with that one or maybe the party in the end zone.
Yeah, that one's up
I
there.
don't know. That one is up there with the party in the end zone senior year, smoking McDowell. And my favorite part is all you see is Ian going out there,
Yeah.
wheelchair, wheeling out there.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I just
You
remember
kidding, man? He
I
wasn't
was
gonna
just
miss that. He was getting
dying
out there no
laughing.
matter what.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
Jordan Cavato it was awesome. He ran and he like belly dives like on a slip and slide because it was raining and it was
Yeah.
like he slid probably about 8 yards. Like it was the most impressive thing I've seen a lineman do ever, probably. But it was crazy. Yeah, that one's definitely a close second, probably. It could be first. You're not wrong.
I don't know. It's I depending on in the mood. If I'm in like more of a funky mood, if somebody was asking me, I'd probably say that one. If I was in a more serious mood,
yeah.
I'd probably say the catch was the definitely the one. But like I said, it's really there's so many good memories of that football team, junior and senior, even just like the class that we had, the bond that we had over those pretty much 3-4 years, that we had there was just kind of something you don't forget about.
Yeah, no, for sure. We had a great class, man. We were lucky. Very lucky.
Definitely a lucky group. A lot of good guys, a lot of good players though too as well. Not just good guys, but great players. We might just have to get a reunion on the podcast here, get everyone on and bounce some stories back and forth and just have a good time and bring the boys back and maybe have a little, our own party in the end zone on the podcast or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, let's get it done. Let's get it going.
Yeah, that'd be really fun to have. I think. Think about that. So going back, so prep. So how is prep? All the current students or current student athletes at prep, or that are seniors or juniors who are going in. How's prep shaped you? College wise, not necessarily academically, but athletically, academically, and all that other stuff. How's that shaped you into to where you are today?
Yeah. I'll start with like academically first, but I mean at prep it is different. Like you have the different level of courses you can take. You can take harder courses, and they call it a prep school because it's preparing you for college. And I think they did a great job with that. Like I haven't had anything in college where I'm like, oh, I can't handle this because I don't know how to time manage it. I don't know how to write this certain type of paper because I've never seen it before. Like, I just think it's not necessarily like teaching you the topics that you're going to learn in college because like prep doesn't teach finance courses or anything like that, but they teach you like what it means to like grow up and be an adult, like teach you how to time manage, teach you what it means to do like quality work, like work you can be proud to put your name on and stuff. And like college really hasn't been that much more difficult because of it, I feel like. But and then like athletically, I think we come from a program where like you're used to being successful, the standard is being successful, and then they run programs that are made to be successful. Like we like you get your laundry done. They take care of that. Like that's
Yep.
a
Exactly.
college level
That is
thing.
100% college level stuff right there.
Everybody has a practice jersey, and it's a nice practice jersey. Like they make
Nice
sure we
locker.
had to.
I think I got a nicer locker at prep than I do here at Albany almost, I
Yeah,
think.
right. Dude, we were so lucky, and I didn't realize it until like you go to the next level. We had a brand new weight room, like all that kind of stuff. It's just prepares you for. It doesn't really like prepare you for like the time commitment that college is, because it kind of it's like your job basically. I mean,
Exactly.
you're playing for them to pay for your school, and that's fair trade off. That's it. That is what it is. So, but yeah, athletically, I think just like being a part of like a program where there are rules and expectations and all that, it's yeah, it was good, man. It was. I mean, the biggest difference probably is like how you get coached, because like a lot of times high school coaches are just like guys that like to be around the game, and they're generally like good people that care about like
Yeah.
the kids and all that. And it's not so much like a livelihood. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like it's a very cutthroat job. Like
It's a
like
cutthroat
we're
business, you know.
right. I mean, it's if you don't win, you won't have a job. And that's stressful, and that's why you get coached harder, and that's why it's different. But in high school, it's just people that love the game and they're around it, and um, yeah. But I wouldn't trade my prep experience for anything, because I do think it helped me in a lot of ways, and I'm sure you've had your own experience with it and just kind of adjusting to school and athletics. So it's yeah, it's been pretty good. Definitely think it's helped.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So Joe, also going into on the school side. So at Duquesne here, what year are you academically? What are you, what major are you are at right now, and what are you looking to do after football? Granted, like I said, and we talked a little bit with Carl on episode number 2. Is God forbid, something were to happen, or something where not everyone's going to get an opportunity to be in the NFL. Even if you get the chance, you're not there for long. What are you looking to do, after football is over with?
Yeah, so I'm technically starting my senior year this semester,
Okay.
and like when I transferred, it all got kind of messed up. Like I was ahead. I was going to graduate a semester to a year early, and then I was gonna, because at Ohio they had a 2-year MBA, and I was trying to get my master's paid for, just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get as much out of it as I can, and still like be able to play football and everything as long as I could. So, but when I came here, some of the credits didn't transfer over, so I was kind of scrambling. I ended up trying to like overload and try to graduate a year early, but I'm not going to. I think it's going to be a semester early. Um, and so I'm a finance major here, and I'm going to stay for the MBA program. I'm in this program where I'm taking MBA courses now with my other courses. So when the time comes, it's only going to take a year to finish it, which is nice. And then from there, I don't really know like exactly where my heart's at with it, but I've been thinking about law school. I've been thinking about just going out and trying to make it in the normal world, to just go work at something in
Yeah.
finance or something, or even, you never know, like open something up and do something that way. But yeah, I mean, haven't really like thought about it too much, because it's still like 2 years off. Definitely should probably put some more thought into it, but yeah, that's where I'm at with everything. What about you? What are you doing?
Yeah. So I'm for anybody new to the channel, I'm a technically a business administration major with a concentration in management and marketing, with the minor in statistics. And so, yeah, so what I'm kind of looking into go into, I'm into the digital marketing field. I want to go in the digital marketing field. I find that super fascinating. Different analytics of that. I'm a little bit more on the marketing side of the analytics part, more than the
Hmm.
creative. A little bit of the creative. I still got a little bit of creative, but I'm more of like 75% analytics, 30%, you know, kind of creative side of the marketing side. And so that's what I'm kind of looking into. Hopefully get an internship here in the summertime. Was able to, like I said, I was able to shadow my dad's company last summer because of COVID and stuff like that. And so I was able to kind of figure out kind of what I want to do. You know, it's not set in stone, but like the glimpse I got of it, because I was only there for a month, you know, kind of sparked that fire, you know, to the digital marketing side. And so hopefully I can get something at least in the marketing field for this upcoming summer. Because I'll have a place up in Albany, and so I'll be pretty much up here in Albany training, working out and stuff, and then having a job, hopefully figuring something out. So, you know, hopefully something comes along. I've applied to a lot of different places, so you know, it's all just a matter of time figuring out, you know, what's going on with that. So
It's funny you brought up digital marketing. You remember Adam Upperman, right?
yeah.
He and I just started like kind of like a little side hustle. We're doing digital marketing for a couple different companies. I'm with you. It's cool, man. I like it. It's really cool.
One of the reasons why I started up the podcast was being able to dive into the a little bit, you know, like I'm not really able to do any of the paid ads and stuff like that, you know, because I'm not making any money, and one, I'm not really looking to like make this, you know, pay for ads and do stuff like that. But I just find that like the social media, being able to, you know, market the podcast or doing stuff like that, you know, constantly testing stuff out. Because marketing, for any marketing majors or anything like that, the one thing I learned shadowing was constantly testing different things. Like there is a base stuff, but one is figuring out your demographic, but two, just kind of testing wording, testing kind of different visuals and stuff like that to be able to get to appeal to your demographic or your customers who are looking for your service, product, or whatever, you know, whatever it may be. So, you know, I've been kind of using this podcast as a social media tool a little bit to figure that out. And like I said, I've done a lot of trial and error, which is probably the best way to learn. And I think that's the best way to learn in marketing, is constantly testing stuff and trial and error. Hey, does this work? Does this not work? Or whatever like that, you know?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like you can get straight A's in school and you can get good grades in your marketing classes. But if you're not gonna like take an extra step and try to figure it out yourself, like you're never gonna learn it like fully. You know what I mean? That's why internships are a thing, I feel. Is to actually like put you in a setting where you can actually do things and figure it out and actually have like real life applications. So that's cool. That's why you're doing it, man. I mean, I was actually going to ask you that. Like, what was
Yeah,
the
and
motivating?
it's not necessarily for that, but that's one of the reasons I talked a little bit about. I mean, the number one reason I created this podcast, because, you know, I want to create a platform for, you know, for other people as well, but I want to also create a platform where people know like that there's other athletes that are going through the same thing, or maybe like tips and tricks. Like we had Anderson on episode number 4, and she talked a lot about the mental health stuff, like, you know, what it's like to go through as the mental health side from an athlete and her experiences with stuff like that. You know, I'm just trying to get pretty much every sport, coaches, whatever it is, you know, whoever wants to come on, you know, whatever it is, you know, just kind of just create a platform so, you know, everyone can use their voice, which I think is important as student athletes, that we use our voice, is because it's important for us to be heard. But I think it's also important to know that there's other student athletes, and there's also tips and tricks to help, you know, help other student athletes out there, whether they're in college or in high school, or maybe just like even like middle school or whatever, and they're kind of just searching their way through certain things. And, you know, being able to say, hey, what is it like being a Division 1 or Division 2, whatever it is, like just a student athlete, you know, what is it like? What are the advantages, disadvantages, and what stuff like that, which I just think is so important. And I just feel like it's important to use my voice and being able to connect, especially like you. I love sitting down, you know, even talk to a little bit, just sitting down, talking to you for a little bit, and just seeing how you're doing and what's going on in your life. Cause I enjoy having these conversations and, you know, getting your opinion and your experiences about certain things.
Yeah. I think one of the like cool things about like what you're doing is I think a lot of times when people who are normal students see an athlete, like, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I wear my gear around, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just convenient and comfy. I wear it around. You do it, and
Yeah,
I think a lot of times, like normal students, there's these random stereotypes about like the different types of athletes, and I think what a lot of people don't realize is like we're just normal kids too. Like we're 18 to 20 whatever year olds that are just trying to make it by and have a good experience, and like really we all have expectations for ourselves in sports, school, social life, everything. So it is something that uh I think a lot of people are going to enjoy seeing like an inside look of what it is, and it's funny how like our culture values certain people's opinions, and I think athletes opinions like matter to people,
I agree.
it's uh it's why you see people with those platforms speaking out on whatever it may be with something that they believe in, and they believe is right. It's just how it is. So no, I think it's really cool that you guys are kind of diving into all the mental health aspects of it, and really just being a student athlete. I mean, we're not that much different besides,
No.
I mean, like our schedules are a little bit different, but I mean, at the end of the day, people are people, man. And,
I mean, I'm me walking around. You might not think I'm an athlete. You might think I'm a chess player or something like that. Like it's okay for me because I don't really get put on. Oh, you an athlete? Because it's like
I don't think I ever had
you're just
that problem.
some player on the chess team or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what majority. I'm not I'm not a superstar or anything like that. I'm majority. Like I said, I'm just a chess player usually. Look, that's just who I am. I just now, there's some guys on the team like, oh yeah, that guy's definitely a football player. That guy's definitely
Yeah.
like he's an athlete. Like I said, I'm just a chess player. Or like I said, we had Nick on, or I'm just, and I don't know if you heard the story was I'm just the dirty dishwasher. I'm just the guy who's cleaning the dishes at the pizza shop, collecting $5-10 an hour. Can't wait to get his nice little slice of pizza after he's done cleaning the dishes for the night.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's been good stuff, man. I've enjoyed watching them, but
Yeah,
yeah.
they're like I said, I'm working on. There's a couple episodes that I'm kind of new to this, so I'm kind of not like kind of just finding my way, a little bit, just finding and also getting feedback from other people on my team or other teams or other people who like recommend certain things or like, hey, like I really like what you're doing, or like, hey, like maybe think about this, or hey, like I'd love to come on and just have a good conversation about whatever it is, that I want to bring, a little bit awareness to about the student athletes, which I think which is awesome because, I'm not just creating a platform for myself, but I'm creating other platforms for other people to talk about their experience as a student athlete. Or like we said, I had Nick Burns on episode number 3, and he just graduated and he's in the workforce right now, and just being able to see other people be successful and see what do they do to be there, which I think are just so important.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool, like touching base with people who were athletes and kind of seeing like if you're a guy that doesn't make it to the league, what do you do? Like, how do you identify yourself as? Because I think a lot of us, our whole life, like we're like, oh, I'm a football player. Like, it's like a personality trait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like it ain't gonna be there forever, and that's just the
And
reality
that's
of it. And
unfortunate. Like, I don't know
yeah,
if you've thought about this, but I've thought about this. And we had 2 guys just make the practice squad, and one guy actually playing a game this past
mhm,
year, which was awesome. Like, we're a little bit of a small school, and we're getting up there, competing in the CAA, and we're building a program. We talked a little bit about with Carl is, he came in a year in before I did. And so he being able, we talked about building our program, and you're probably the same ways. He's talked about leaving it better, than when I got here. And I feel like that he's done that. And I feel like I'm going to hopefully continue, his legacy and continue to do that as we're building here. But, we talked about this with Nick a little bit is, you've played three sports all your entire life. I've played 2-3 sports, my entire life. We talked about filling that void, that competitive aspect, or filling that need that, like, sports have always been there for us, but they're not always going to be there. And how different people, do different things to help fill that void, because, we're so busy with our time and stuff like that. I think is being able to keep us busy and being able to get in that competitive aspect is so important. So we're not just kind of, we're not just working to work, but we also have some sort of thing that we're doing outside of work or something like that to help us keep driving through.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know that's like one of the biggest issues that is presented to everybody when they do, like, the numbers speak for themselves. There's like how many student athletes that play football, how many people actually go to the league. Like, there needs to be more people in people's ear telling them, like, hey, you're good at this. Like, you should try to go do this when you're done. And it's not saying like don't shoot for that. Doesn't mean don't work like you're gonna try to go there. Like, do I think I'm going to the NFL? No, but do I come in every day and work hard and practice like I want to? Yeah, because that's just like what athletes do. That's what competitors want to do, is they want to be the best that they can be, But at the same time, I have realistic expectations. Like, I'm a transfer quarterback that's like 5'10", and I mean, that's just what it is. So
Yeah, two
I just
quarterbacks in
gotta,
the NFL that are under 6 foot, like.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to like finding that thing that's like a competition. I think with nice thing about being in business is it's competitive, and I mean, you can find ways to be competitive with yourself, other people, your whole life, and really it's just taking those traits that you've built your whole life of being a hard worker and being competitive and put it towards something else now. So
Yeah. I
it'd be
mean,
cool.
I've got stuck in the middle between, um, like this whole like NFL thing is, or even just, we'll just use goals in general. And a couple of people told me, well, why should you have a plan B? Because then
Yeah.
you're not putting it all in 1A, or putting it all into A. And then I've always been like, well, okay, I understand that part, but then I understand like, but let's be realistic. Like, let's take the percentage, of our numbers. Like, okay, like, no doubt, like, I'm going to shoot for the moon, like shoot for the stars, whatever. But I don't know, like, I always feel like you should always be prepared, because, in life, I just feel like even just these past short amount of time that I've been on this earth is that, whatever life can throw at you, the most unexpected curveball or whatever, and you got to be ready to hit it, at least, foul it off, or, do something without, we can't strike out,
Hmm.
and so I've always thought, man, like, I understand that point of view, but also it's like I don't know, like, we don't ever know when our time's going to be done with football or anything like that. So I don't know. I feel like it's always kind of hit me hard. It's like I see where that side is, but I also see like being prepared for the unexpected, or being prepared for, for reality, I guess, is what I would say.
Right. That's just like an extreme mindset to me. You know what I mean? Like, just because I have a backup idea of like what I want to be in my life doesn't mean I'm not just focused on being the best that I can be right now,
Yeah.
And it I like that quote and I dislike that quote for different reasons. And I mean, for some people that's their motto, and you know what? It works for them. But for some people, like, they like to have a plan for everything. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is what
And
it
at the
is.
end of the
But
day, everyone's different.
yeah,
Everyone takes different approaches. We aren't going to, like I said, your way of getting to Duquesne is not the same way as Billy's, or,
yeah,
other student athletes who came to Duquesne. Like, I've had a bunch of friends and teammates who've got to Albany or other schools. Well, they didn't just go straight to that school. They kind of just found their way around and figured out, hey, what's the best scenario for me? How am I going to be the best me? Where's the best fit for me? How am I going to be the best me that I can possibly be?
yeah. That's honestly why I'm where I'm at right now. I'm happy, doing well. And that's all I wanted. That's all
Well,
I could ask for.
well, that's
So
awesome. How did you feel? I saw you had the big big touchdown throw and the big touchdown. I saw the big touchdown run. How was that, getting your first collegiate touchdown on your first game and the throw, and even just getting your so go backing up a little bit. So we were playing Rhode Island. I think it was 2 years ago. And I remember there was some corner that we put in our scouting report or whatever. And we're watching like your guys' game versus Rhode Island versus Ohio. And we saw him make a pick. And I look and I turn and look. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Joe.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then my dad tells me like the next day, oh, Joe threw his first pass as an interception. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just watched that. Like yesterday. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, oh no.
Yeah.
I could tell you. So what was it like getting your first start, your first touchdown, first rushing touchdown in, your first game at Duquesne? What was it? How'd that feel?
First of all, it felt good not to throw a pick, I was looking forward to getting that off of, there's like the ESPN stats or whatever. I was like 1 for 3 with a pick. I was like, man, I look like a bum right now. But no, like I said, dude, it's been 3.5 years since I started a game, and I'm just happy, I mean, I didn't play a perfect game. Our team didn't play a perfect game, but like we won, and everybody did a couple good things, and it felt good though. I mean, that first touchdown pass, we came out first drive of the game, and then we scored. And I just remember it feels good when you work at something for so long, and and it finally like happens. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm just happy that it all worked out, and God's got a plan for everybody.
Exactly.
Just ends up happening how it happens.
So there's our offense coordinator, Coach Davis, put in my freshman year a quote by Winston Churchill, a little bit about. And the quote pretty much went on and saying, if you guys can look it up, is it's a little bit from his finest hour speech. When he was making that speech to England, and it was about a soldier or somebody better be prepared, because you never know when their finest hour may come, and I've always taken that approach to whatever I'm doing, because I remember my first year coming in, I was like, we all kind of started at the bottom of the depth chart, whatever, coming in as a freshman. And I was that quote hit me so hard, because it was like, well, today I might not be the number one receiver, it might not even be playing or whatever, but guess what? I might get the opportunity to go do that. And when that opportunity comes, imagine if I wasn't prepared. I better be prepared for that scenario, because if I didn't work, I'll regret for the rest of my life that I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. I went through the motions this day, or whatever it was, to not get to that opportunity where I just lose that opportunity or piss it down my leg, where I could have had the opportunity to be great. And I felt like last year I was like you this year, use that opportunity a little bit in our last 6 games that we were able to do, to show that, hey, that was the finest hour at that time. I showed I can play, I can do all these things. And I think it is the same thing with you, these first 2 games, showing that, man, hey, look out for Joe Mischler, because here he comes, man. This guy's worked his butt off for these 3 years. He's been slept on by pretty much every college, and Duquesne gave him a shot, and hey, look out, because this guy's coming at you. And that's how I think you've taken the situation, you've handled it very well.
Appreciate that, man. I'm just excited that I'm playing again. Yeah,
there's nothing like scoring a touchdown with your teammates, man. There's nothing I don't care what you do, whatever sport you're playing or whatever you do in the real world, like whatever it is, there's nothing like just scoring a touchdown, celebrating with your teammates, winning that game, whatever it is. Just know that your hard work has paid off. And did you feel like a little bit after those 3 years, you kind of just like, after, scoring, having that big game, the first big game, you kind of got the monkey off your back and kind of just were able to not relax, but hey, be confident in myself that no, hey, I'm here. I know I can be here like this. I know I was built for this.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, like, you do this your whole life, like, but you almost have to, like, prove to yourself again that you can do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there is doubt, like, can you play? Can you perform at the level that you want to perform? And it was nice to come out and, play well the first game, and, um, yeah, it's crazy how, like, mental sports are. Like, you have to have the confidence, but then you also have to have, like, the part of you that's like, "Okay, well, don't get too don't love yourself too much because you still gotta work," you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
You always gotta find the balance, and I think you said it well. It's just, like, being prepared and ready to take advantage of an opportunity when it presents itself, and, um, I mean, that's something that people can use in life, you know? You don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen 10 minutes from now, you know? I have a
Exactly.
plan, but I don't know if it's gonna actually fall through, so it's just yeah, I'm just happy that it all worked out, and I think, like, even with you, man, like, you're balling out right now. That's just because you worked hard, you know? You wanted it and you worked hard, and you've been preparing for it for a long time, so it's cool to see it all work out for people when they do work hard, and people that, like, deserve to get an opportunity, so it's all coming together a
Yeah,
little bit, just
like I
gotta
said,
keep
I'm
it rolling.
excited because I know all our guys who we graduated with, they're all working their tails off, doing whatever they can to get on the field and show that they, this is where they belong. And I'm excited to see, like I said, probably won't be able to catch many games because we'll be playing. I'll be playing on the same day, but seeing how everyone's doing and it excites me because we were all teammates for and won those state championships. The back-to-back years, so that we were there, and so just excited excited for their success and hopefully we can help they can bring it along. But you talked a little bit about the mental game. Have you been able to this summer be able to golf or caddy or anything like that while you're out there, improve on the golf game?
I've golfed a couple times over the summer. I actually had my best golfing year I've ever had, honestly. I got started to find the swing a little bit, but yeah, I didn't caddy at all. The country club was, like, shut down because of COVID. They wouldn't let people have
Okay.
caddies, but so I ended up just, like, mowing lawns and doing landscaping for people just to make a little bit of cash for when I came back to school. But
Nothing wrong with that.
no,
That's
no, it was
always
a
that's always
grind.
good to
But
have.
I
I
was
wish I
showing
could
up
have
to
got out
people's
more. Oh, go ahead.
I was showing up to people's house in a four-door sedan with all my equipment in it, and people were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, "Hey, do you like how your lawn looks mowed to me? Like, who cares how it gets done? It's getting done." But
How did you fit the mower in the? Did you throw it in the trunk or something?
I'd have to fold it down. I'd have to, like, take the handlebars off and then unscrew it, put it in, lift it up, put it in, and then I'd have to, like, lift it and, like, pull it out on an angle and then put it back together and then mow.
Did you just have the mower? Or did you have the weed whacker at all? Did you have to
I
throw
had the whole 10 yards, man. I had the leaf blower, I had the weed whacker, I had I had, like,
a little edger?
edger, yeah, whatever you wanna call it, you know,
They had it all, man.
it I had a nice
And
little
you were saving the money without the half ton pickup truck, the trailer,
yeah,
all that other stuff. You were, just paying for gas.
yeah, honestly. Dude, it's a workout, though. Some of those days are pretty brutal, but
Were you a lot of lawns? Were the lawns pretty big, or are they just relatively small? You found in some old
the
ones.
lawn jobs weren't the problem. It was the ones when people, like, I wasn't doing mulch because I couldn't really get the mulch, you know what I mean? But people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll have it delivered." So I'd, like, do that, or the one house, a good family friend of mine, they wanted to have stones put around, um, as their mulch, like, around their backyard, and that one was, like, the rocks were all, like, this big, and I was trying to pick them up and put them in a wheelbarrow and, like, pull and dump them and everything. That one, I finished it. I called the other person that I was supposed to do that day. I was like, "Hey, I have to reschedule. I'm coming tomorrow. I'm sorry," because I was beat. I was done for the day. I had, like, I sweat through my shirt within the first 5 minutes or
Oh,
something.
geez.
It was bad, but yeah, yep. But just staying busy, doing whatever, you know.
Well, that's awesome. You doing the
Yeah,
landscaping stuff again this summer?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It depends on, like, what happens with a couple of these internships and who knows like what summer's gonna be like
Yeah,
anymore
that's the
with
thing though too. Like hopefully, like I said, we talked a little bit about with everyone is, man, this COVID stuff needs to go away quick.
yeah.
Get off this podcast. We'll stop talking about it because
Yeah. I'm looking forward to never dealing with it again. But
hopefully like Texas and these Florida, like they've had pretty much no restrictions. Hopefully they get the ball rolling with some of these other states that start to open stuff back up again, and we can get back to normal life again, which I'm really excited about. Not having to worry about who you're hanging out with, when you're hanging out with them.
yeah,
Just hang out with your buds or whoever it is, and just not have to worry about, oh man, if I get COVID, am I going to put my teammates or other people, out because, or hurt
yeah.
them because of, hey, I'm not able to play or whatever it is.
It was funny. My roommate and I, so they test like all the sports teams here basically on the same day, but they do like we get tested like 3-4 times a week, like you guys. So we had a couple friends on the soccer team, and we ended up going over to their house just to hang out, like just doing whatever, And we had a fun time. We come back, and I was like, "Why do I feel guilty right now? Like we all got tested today. We were all negative. Like I shouldn't be feeling guilty for like having a normal evening, hanging out with people. Like
Yeah,
I just can't wait for that part to go away because you're right. You go anywhere now, you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to ruin this whole season for everybody? Am I going to ruin
exactly.
it for myself? Like, am I going to give it to somebody who could actually get really sick from it? All the whole bit. I just can't wait for it to be over.
Do you
And
guys
like,
do you guys get the up in the nose ones, or what do you guys?
yeah,
No.
yeah. I got a broken nose, and my left nostril is like smaller than my right one. It's like
Do you tell them,
pretty.
hey?
I used to, but it's just like whatever at this point. But my left side always hurts really bad because I don't know. I think it's just
Do you still cry every time? Little watery
they
eyes.
don't go like how like when they first started, you could feel it up here,
Yeah.
like you almost felt like the pressure was here. Like now you only feel like right here. They don't go as far, which is nice, but it definitely is not a fun feeling.
We do like it's all saliva.
Yeah, I heard about those. I wish we had those.
Those are I would rather do that than throw them suckers halfway up my brain,
For
so they
sure.
don't.
Yeah.
When,
The
when I got
first
my
the
test
first one
in,
I got sucked.
oh yeah, I remember my test in Indiana. Like, so I got ones in New York and I got one in Indiana. And the one in New York, they're just shove it right up there. I'm like, man, all right, when are you done? When are you done? When are you done? Finally done. In Indiana, they don't go as far, but they do both nostrils.
Oh, I've only ever had it with both.
Oh, you've never had it just the one
Oh,
sucker? Hmm.
and the one
Oh,
over the
you've got it
summer when we came
harsh. You
back,
got it bad, man. You got it
they do the
bad.
whole 5 second deal where they're like twisting it and all that.
Oh man,
Like,
I feel bad for you, man.
yeah, that's every day, man. And then before we came back to school, everybody got their own personal kit, and we had to like test to come back even. And let me tell you, when someone else does it to you, it's not great. But like when you actually have to like grow a pair and do it to yourself, it's not great. It was I was like my 5 seconds was probably like 1.5 seconds compared to what they do.
1, 2, 3,
So
4, 5.
yeah, I was like I don't want to do that at all. But yeah, I'm looking forward not to having a thing stuck up my nose just to play football again. So hopefully that's over with soon.
Yeah, we always talked about it. What honestly, like, what are you willing to do to just have a football season? How much
Honestly,
sacrifice, and our team has done a fantastic job sacrificing, stuff that they might like to do. Like, let's say you're going out to a park, especially after we win. We haven't had a home game yet, but like after a win, or like, somebody's birthday or something like that,
yeah,
where, hey, you want to gather in a group or you want to have a good time with your buddies and friends and whatnot, you know, limit it as much as you possibly can. I think it's
yeah.
been fantastic what we've done here.
My 21st birthday was spent in quarantine over the summer in a dorm where I was like locked away. So everybody's had something happen that they don't like. It's just honestly good patience lesson, just be patient, it'll go away. So
Exactly.
You just gotta keep finding ways to get through it. But
Exactly. All right, guys, that's about all the time we got for today. Again, I appreciate having Joe on the show. It was good to catch up with Joe and talk about our past experiences and what his road has been completely different to what my road is and whatnot, and all the hurdles that Joe's gone through. Again, Joe's background, he's a under 6 foot quarterback, and so him overcoming these obstacles, and I'd like to say, as my grandpa likes to say, prove the bastard wrong. And Joe's done after these 2 games has done a fantastic of proving all the damn bastards wrong and performing at a high level, which I've always known Joe, that's what he's going to do. So this is nothing new to me, but maybe new to some other people. But again, Joe, I appreciate you coming on the show, and it was great to catch up and talk to you, man.
Theo, appreciate it, man. I'm happy to see you guys. You're 16 down there or up there, I guess, too. But
whatever, up down yonder, wherever you
hey,
want to say. All
yeah,
right, man. I
we'll have to do this again in the future.
Like I said, stay tuned for our next couple episodes. And again, thanks, Joe, for being on the show.
Yep, I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.